The IT boom has since shaped Bangalore's identity as the Silicon Valley of India. But it has also brought with it a lot of congestion and traffic on the roads, which this city, once touted as a pensioner's paradise, has not been able to take. Multiple projects are being discussed right now, but they are being opposed to because opposition, citizenry doesn't believe that it will solve the issues of this city. Meanwhile, Bangalore has become among the slowest cities in the world. Other cities now are trying to steal this crown of being India's IT capital, and global capability centers are looking at other cities, especially Hyderabad, to expand into. Bangalore and Hyderabad are two hyphenated cities right now. Whenever there is an issue in Bangalore, it is Hyderabad which is praised for being the future. Hyderabad has also exceeded Bangalore when it comes to the number of GCCs that are coming to India. As part of my Urban Collapse series, I have come to Bangalore to figure out what these mobility issues are and at large, how are they affecting the city's growth moving forward. Will Bangalore's traffic cause it its crown in the long run?
The virtual map of Bengaluru covered an entire floor. What stood out most were the missing pieces: 22 unfinished flyovers, an incomplete suburban railway, metro lines that haven't materialized, and patchy road networks. Architect Anvita Nambiar of the Urban Action Group MOD Foundation pointed it all out step by step to residents. This is Bangalore Under Construction, an exhibition by the city's foundation that highlighted infrastructural issues in the city. Bengaluru is now the third slowest city in the world, according to 2024 rankings of Netherlands based research firm TomTom. The gridlock is not just causing emotional and physical exhaustion, but economic losses. One estimate pegged the social cost at Rs 38,000 crore per year. No major Indian city is immune to traffic problems. 8 of the world's 50 slowest cities are in India, but ambitious Bangalore in particular is bursting at the seams due to poor planning that never kept pace with its own expansion.
So I think the phenomena that Bangalore has seen over the last 30 years is one of governance trailing growth and ceding space in consecutive years to a far greater degree than peer cities. So what I mean is Bangalore has witnessed faster growth in business and population compared to peer cities like Ahmedabad, Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune, and so on. But its governance, in my view, has lagged behind to a far greater degree than those peer cities. And I think one of the principal reasons for this is Bangalore has not had a committed political owner for the city for close to 2 decades now. Whereas its peer cities have had one or the other committed political owner for reasonably long periods of time. And what this has led to in Bangalore is a breakdown of what we call our city systems. And we believe there are three key city systems. One is urban planning and urban design. The second is decentralized governance. And the third is capacities, state capacities comprising both public finances and human resources. So Bangalore's urban planning and design, as any of us that visits Bangalore can experience, is completely broken, if not non-existent. In case of governance, Bangalore has one of the most severely fragmented governance systems. Until very recently, Bangalore's mayor had a term of 1 year. There is, at least 15 to 18 city parastatals, state parastatals, and state departments that govern Bangalore, as a result of which there is no integrated, coordinated governance nor any accountability for outcomes that citizens or businesses enjoy. Essentially, Bangalore needs an empowered mayor with a 5-year term, into whom all key functions report. And the third piece is on state capacities. Bangalore has severely underinvested in its infrastructure and services. The state government has underinvested. Bangalore's municipal area is more than 700 square kilometers. It has a road length of more than 12,000 kilometers, making it among India's largest municipalities, if not the largest municipality in terms of road length and area. It's going to further expand now. And for this scale, BBMP until very recently only had a budget of about 12,000, 13,000 crores. It's never had the ability to raise and spend more than this amount of money, which is a small fraction of what it actually needs. Similarly, in terms of human resources, the BBMP has a staff strength of what? Close to 30,000 people, a large chunk of whom are street sweepers and Paura Karmikas. So there's a systematic underinvestment in the number of people and the skills and competencies of people governing our city.
The city has seen breakneck growth since the 1970s, with the population rising by 59% between 1971 and 1981, and by 38% between 2001 and 2011. Compared to other cities, Bengaluru's road network also trailed way behind. Data from the Asian Development Bank's urban transport profile shows that Delhi had a built up road network of 31,000 kilometers in 2010 itself, serving a population density of 14,160 people per square kilometer. Bengaluru had just 14,000 kilometers of roads as of 2018, despite a higher population density of 15,595 people. Hyderabad, according to the report, had a road network of 9,000 kilometers as of 2019. An analysis by urban data platform OpenCity shows that central Bengaluru, the old part of town, has dense road coverage, but it thins near BBMP boundaries, including commercial centers like Mahadevpura, home to an IT hub. It has one of the worst road densities in the city.
Bangalore historically is a market town, and eventually, what it grew into a station between what we call the city and the cantonment. And these have distinctly different, say, proximity of road networks. And then, when Bangalore started to grow, you have these gridded developments, mainly growing as suburban developments. And these are again not designed for large movement of vehicles, because they didn't they were not, yeah, they were not expecting large movement of vehicles. And when the PSUs are set up, they are set up outskirts of the city, but usually self-contained. So this, while say bus transport and things like that did exist for public sector industries, the larger amount of people worked and lived within the same campus. And with the IT boom post 90s, and a large number or large scale employee
Migration?
migration, but also I mean large scale, like I mean offices that hold like 30 to 50,000 people, or factories that do. So you have that kind of coming up, which and then and what happens at this point is that the movement between, say, where you're living to where you're working, or that is not, I would say, not clearly thought through. Because Bangalore has had master plans in the past, but they don't really correlate this much of, employee versus resident information.
I think sorry, just to add, I think it's also important to say that Bangalore, the city, hasn't had a master plan since 2015. And even the master plans that the city has seen, they were not really conducive to the kind of growth and development, the pace that the city saw.
The infrastructural issues are frustrating Indian Silicon Valley's IT bosses. This frustration often spills onto social media. In July, Ease My Trip co-founder Prashant Pitti fired off a tweet pledging rupees 1 crore for anyone who would develop a mechanism to map out Bengaluru's choke points using artificial intelligence. In 2022, Nikhil Kumar, who is the co-founder of Setu API, reviewed the mess that Bengaluru had become and threatened a mass exodus of companies.
What we are seeing now is that there are major choke points, like the outer ring road, which is under construction for a fairly long time, and projects are getting delayed. And there are more and more commercial complexes, office spaces coming up. There is definitely a huge traffic congestion There are one-ways created time and again, which basically means that the officials do not know what to do and they're trying to provide tactical solutions. So it's actually getting worse progressively as the days go by. Whereas at the same time, it is not just all bad in Bangalore. There are newer business parks coming up. Manyata has picked up, which is in North Bangalore. And there are new commercial spaces coming up closer to the airport, which is the right solution to Bangalore's problems because there is enough space there to not only build commercial, to also learn from the past mistakes and build larger, more wider roads and enough public infrastructure to kind of support that kind of growth.
So online we see this constant thing where Hyderabad is trying to fill in Bangalore's shoes, and it has always been this city which aspires to be a Bangalore, right? So with these traffic issues, how much business is Telangana at this point attracting, and what have you seen in your office space and in employee transport there? What have been your observations?
Yeah, great question. So, what is actually happening in Bangalore is that the complexes that were built 20, 25 years back, they are getting an upgrade now, and they have been getting an upgrade for the last 5 years. But the perception that it is bad is increasing because in those areas more and more commercial developments are happening, and the commercial developments are happening much faster than the infrastructure growth. Whereas in Hyderabad, they had already planned it out. They started planning it 15 years back, and now it is starting to show up where commercial complexes are coming up while the roads are already large, wide. Not only that, there are also enough residential areas nearby. So the average commute time of the commuter is not increasing as much because people are staying closer to home there. Whereas in Bangalore, it is getting more and more expensive to stay close to a prime locality like Outer Ring Road, and they're moving further and further away.
I'm standing on the balcony of T Hub, which is among the biggest innovator startup incubators in the country. The good thing about the state of Telangana is that successive governments have been interested in nurturing the IT industry over here. So this area, the cyber tech, the high tech park, was started by Chandrababu Naidu. That is where he envisioned. Even now, with the Congress government, with G. Sridhar Babu, who is currently holding the portfolio of IT ministry, Hyderabad is seeing unprecedented growth, even leaving Bangalore behind in terms of the growth that the state is seeing. So the state has seen 126% rise in startups growing over here. Global capability centers, which are GCCs, are also sharply rising in the city. This is happening at the same time when there is a lot of frustration when it comes to Bangalore's infrastructure that different companies are flagging online. The congestion is bad, the infrastructure is crumbling, there is water inundation. And when it comes to Hyderabad, right now, it is a city which is comparatively cheaper, and the government is extremely friendly when it comes to setting up a business.
Hyderabad, in the meantime, has been ranked as India's most livable city in Mercer's annual rankings for 6 consecutive years and even came ahead of Bengaluru in last year's Hurun India Rich List. In 2024, startup funding saw an over 100% spike from the year before, and it is fast becoming a hub of global capability centers, which are offshore units set up by large MNCs for critical functions such as IT and R&D. Hyderabad also received a 7-star rating and was declared the 6th cleanest cities in 2024 Swachh Sarvekshan Mission, which is a survey for cities over 10 lakh population. This was its best ever performance. Bengaluru ranked 36th in the same survey.
American companies primarily started looking at India to set up their development centers, etc. This process began in late 80s, early 90s, and I distinctly remember the very first company, which American company which chose to come to India was called Texas Instruments. And of course, I don't have 100% evidence-based answer, but what I was told was that they had also come to Hyderabad. They were open-ended. See, there was no place in India which was booming for IT. I mean, everything was very kind of new. And people do tell, of course, this is all anecdotal, there's no evidence, that they came to Hyderabad as well. But the leaders, the kind of officers at that time, they were not very responsive. They did not understand what this company wants and how to engage with this company. And obviously, the response was very lukewarm. But apparently, when they went to Bangalore, the response was far better. And then they decided that, okay, let us set this up in Bangalore. And thereafter, many other companies, because the first one has gone there, they presumed that the due diligence would have been done. So they chose to go there as well. And therefore, a kind of a momentum began for Bangalore. Later on, the leadership in Andhra Pradesh, at that time it was the combined state, they also realized that they're missing out on something. Then they also started kind of reaching out. We all know today it is some kind of a classic case study on how Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, who was the chief minister at that time, he reached out to Bill Gates and he was able to convince them. Of course, smaller companies had started coming to Hyderabad before Microsoft itself, but there was no real marquee name, no real anchor. So when Microsoft chose to come to Hyderabad in the mid 2000s, that also became a very important milestone. That while Bangalore is there is a city which is willing to challenge it, and there is a city which is willing to provide better ecosystem, or at least an ecosystem on par with Bangalore. So that is how it has begun. But because Bangalore began about 10 to 15 years ahead of us, that advantage, that head start will always be there. And but the reality is that while at one point in time it was felt that the Bangalore growth will just not be matched or touched by anyone, I can share numbers with you. The numbers are like this. In 2014, and but before I tell the numbers from 2014 and now, the numbers which are typically used to measure what kind of IT landscape is there in a particular city or a geography. So there are four parameters. So one is number of companies which operate out of there. Second is number of new jobs which are getting created. Third is number of new companies which are setting up. And the fourth is what is the volume, what is the value of software which is developed, what is the value of software which is exported. So on these four parameters, we typically judge what is the country's performance, what is the state's performance, and so on and so forth. So I can share this with you now that in 2014, when Telangana became a new state, I was given the responsibility to be the IT secretary. The difference between us and Bangalore was threefold on each of these parameters. Bangalore had 3 times more companies. So let us say we were employing 300,000 people. Bangalore was employing 1 million people. So everything was approximately threefold. So Bangalore was 3 times bigger than Hyderabad. Today, I mean, 11 years have gone by, 2024 till, 2014 till 2025. In these 11 years, we have narrowed down this 3 times gap to 2.1 time. And I'm very confident. See, I'm sure you will ask these questions subsequently, but in the current scenario, in the last 5 years or 4 years, most of the new IT jobs, most of the buoyancy in the IT landscape is coming through GCCs. Right. And if you take GCC numbers alone, I mean, Hyderabad has won the race.
Hyderabad has been eyeing Bangalore's crown as the Silicon Valley since the 90s, when Chandrababu Naidu coined the Bye Bye Bangalore, Hello Hyderabad campaign. MNCs are now flocking to Hyderabad.
They are looking at considering all sorts of companies, like for example, retail tech, we're talking about pharma tech, then health tech. All these companies are already here. And the infrastructure that you just mentioned was really, really good, because the kind of infrastructure development which happened in the last 4 years has been significant. I must say that if somebody lives in Singapore, they can actually see a mini Singapore in Bangalore and Hyderabad, and then specifically in Hyderabad, where we are looking at that kind of infrastructure. And when it comes to government policies, I think with a single window system and a lot of favorable policies in Hyderabad, it's actually making GCCs to think that yes, Hyderabad is a place where they can invest on. And talent, we did not talk about it, but then there is all talent available, from AI to Gen AI to data to all types of talent is available in this part of the world. So that makes me feel that yes, this state, this location has all the policies which are favoring any of the GCCs that you want to set up in India.
So, what is Bengaluru doing to fix these problems? The latest Karnataka budget aims to revive brand Bengaluru with a slate of big ticket infrastructure projects, many of which are now facing heat from opposition leaders and citizen groups. These include multi crore projects for double decker flyovers alongside Nama Metro, a tunnel road from Hebbal to Silk Road, and 300 kilometers of new roads to be built using buffer zones along canals. There is also 27,000 crore rupees which has been allocated to the long delayed peripheral ring road. The budget also mentions building tier 2 and tier 3 cities to reduce pressure on Bengaluru but offers no specifics. Some of these projects have drawn ire, especially from opposition in the state.
Well, I keep saying that urban mobility is a complex system, and people think that it's very easy and easy to solve, but it's actually a classic domain of complexity science. It is so complex that you really cannot understand unless you have a deep systems thinking and systems perspective in looking at this whole issue of mobility and connecting it to aspect of development goals of livability and quality of life. Bangalore has seen a sudden transition from a small city to a large city, including its infrastructure. And when that happened, when a lot of wealthy people came, or people in IT sector came, there was a sudden explosive growth in the personal vehicle ownership, and that created a huge gap between the transport demand and transport supply. But we have tried to be in the quest of filling that gap by adding more and more transport supply through road infrastructure, which unfortunately is not sustainable, is not leading to a holistic vision and a long term solution for the traffic problems. Plus, it is also making our city more car dependent, less friendly for public transport users, walking and cycling, and making the life of people less and less livable, degrading quality of life. Yeah. So today, in spite of almost 2 decades of road infrastructure interventions, we have already seen enough of how these measures have failed uh, in terms of their longevity and sustainability.
For The Print, this is Shubhangi Mishra reporting from Karnataka and Telangana.